Hey, this is LA from lashow. Thank you so much for tuning back into another episode of lashows current events. Please hit the subscribe button and notification bell for more. Now let's get into these stories. Hey guys, welcome back to lashows current events. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in with me, your host, LA. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Also like this video, share this video. Please find me on all of my social media platforms and follow me for more news and updates. Also, you can cash at me $LAShow1 for the growth and betterment of this media venture. And also, you can sign up to my Patreon to help support this movement. All right, let's get into these stories.
Want to go on camera, but he did tell us that while he knows 26-year-old Sydney Parham, who has been arrested for this, she was not his girlfriend. As to a possible motive, he says he's not quite sure. He woke up to the boom of his Jeep exploding on Wednesday, rushed to his balcony, pulled out his phone, and couldn't believe what he was seeing.
Now, I know you guys have seen this video. This video has gone completely viral. I have an article here from Fox2Detroit.com. Owner of Jeep set ablaze in viral video says he knows accused woman but doesn't know why she did it. This was posted on July 24th of 2020. Harrison Township, Michigan. You can still smell the explosion in a video that has lit social media on fire after its debut a few days ago. It has been traced back to an apartment complex in Harrison Township. Boom, wow, that is something else, said tenant Jerome Doster. That would be the typical reaction to this video gone viral. As soon as you see a woman walk up to an SUV with a gas can and stick lighter, you know something bad is about to happen, and it sure did, leaving neighbors stunned as the woman sets the SUV ablaze, but it explodes in her face. The fire department and deputies were called to the San Remo apartments on Union Lake Road for a car fire on Wednesday around 8 a.m. I was at a loss for words. I couldn't believe it was going on, said Jerome Doster. The Jeep's owner is Avery Stevenson. He did not want to go on camera, but shared this video of what is left of his brand new, fully loaded SUV. A charred mess is left behind. His daughter's stuff inside, gone too. Sydney Parham, age 26, is allegedly the hooded woman in the video who suffered surprisingly just minor burns. She is now charged with third-degree arson. Stevenson wants to make clear this was not his girlfriend, but he did know her. He said he doesn't know why she did it. Stevenson has a rental for now and is trying to stay calm through the craziness. He suffers from high blood pressure. His acquaintance, Sydney Parham, was given a personal bond and then released from custody. I don't think that was necessary. She blew herself away, said Ashford, a tenant. Tenant Nia Ashford and her boyfriend Sidney Pearson, like a lot of us, saw the video first before knowing where it happened. I thought it was some viral video, Ashford said. I said that looks like it could be our complex, Pearson said. We were joking about it. It happened right in front of their apartment unit. Her car suffered a small scratch from debris, but two others were damaged. One with a blown out window, both with melted doors. The Jeep's owner, in a viral video that has lit social media on fire, says he knows the woman that did it, but it wasn't his girlfriend. He gave us the video of the charred remains. R.I.P. Jeep. R.I.P. Jeep indeed. First of all, to my ladies, this is never that serious. If a guy wants to move on, you have every right to keep it moving too. Now, to my fellas, this could have been a worse situation for this young man. You know what I'm saying? What if she would have showed up to his house with a gun? So I just want my young men to understand that you have to try to get to know these females that you're laying up with. Sometimes men can get set up, men can get robbed, men can get beat up, men can get all types of things behind a woman. So just know what you're doing. I just I can't wrap my head around why a woman would just blow up your car for no reason. But let me know what you think. Now, I know we haven't really gone in depth on this brother, Alonzo Brooks, but I do want to bring him up in this current event because his case is currently getting a lot of traction to it, which I am happy about. It did take a while to do so, but hopefully they can come up to some conclusions ever since this Unsolved Mysteries has came out on Netflix. Now, this case happened back in 2004, so if you are unfamiliar with the case, please go watch the Netflix series Unsolved Mysteries. I have an article here from eonline.com, Why Alonzo Brooks' Death Needed Further Investigation and Not Just from Unsolved Mysteries. This was posted on August 1st of 2020. On April 3rd of 2004, Alonzo Brooks went to a party and his mother never saw him again. I'm still hurt, I'm still mad, and no trust. I lost that, Maria Ramirez says in the episode of Netflix reboot of Unsolved Mysteries that delves into her son's death. When the series premiered on July 1st, it provided this first synopsis of the unsatisfyingly closed Brooks case for most people and quickly led to a social media-fueled national outcry for justice for Alonzo, whom many suspect was the victim of a hate crime. And the United States Attorney for Kansas, who reopened the investigation in 2019, spurred by the Unsolved Mysteries producers who started calling with a list of questions, was encouraged to see the 23-year-old's death back in the public eye. We are investigating whether Alonzo was murdered, U.S. Attorney Stephen McAllister said at a June 11th press conference, as the FBI announced a $100,000 reward for information that would lead to arresting and convicting a person or persons responsible. His death certainly was suspicious, and someone, likely multiple people, knows what happened that night in April of 2004. It is past time for the truth to come out. The code of silence must be broken. Alonzo's family deserves to know the truth, and it is time for justice to be served. FBI Special Agent in Charge, Timothy Langan, added there are many unanswered questions that surround Alonzo's death. Someone knows something, and we are hopeful that with the passage of time and this significant reward, this renewed effort will produce results and provide closure for the Brooks family. Prosecutors have also said that they were looking into whether a potential racially motivated crime had occurred. According to the FBI, Alonzo was one of only 3 black men among close to 100 revelers at the party he attended in rural Lagrange, Kansas, a city of less than 1,200 people. On Unsolved Mysteries, his mother, Maria, recalled him telling her that he was going to a goodbye party for someone who was going into the military. Also on the show, friends Justin Sprague, the one pictured, Daniel Fune, and Tyler Brogard remembered the outing being a spontaneous plan after they got word there was a party happening. Alonzo was the easiest guy in the world to get along with, Justin said. Justin gave Alonzo a ride to the party in Lagrange, which Daniel called a tiny Kansas town. They got like one gas station, no real grocery store, nothing like that. There ain't nothing down there. Daniel also said that Alonzo, Zoe, friends and family often called him, didn't usually party much with them because he was a few years older. Sure enough, when they got to the party that night, he estimated the crowd to be in the 16 to 21-year-old age range. Folks were playing drinking games like Flip Cup. Guys were playing cards. Some people were dancing. The guys agreed that their friends seemed to be in great spirits that night, that even a confrontation with another partygoer, Daniel said he got in between them to break it up, couldn't diminish his good mood. It was a different kind of crowd than they were used to. The friends, all of whom are white, said Tyler said that race just never came up around their usual group of friends, but that night, there were some people at the party who had problems with people's skin color, Justin said. But after about an hour and a half, Daniel got a call about another party, and he and Tyler left, exchanging handshakes and hugs with Alonzo on their way out. Justin said he went outside to smoke what turned out to be his last cigarette, so he decided to go get more. Alonzo asked that Justin get a pack for him too. When he got in the car, however, Justin said he took a wrong turn and ended up 30 minutes out of the way. His car stuck on a gravel road. He called another guy at the party, Adam, and asked if he could bring Alonzo home. He could hear Alonzo ragging on him in the background about getting lost. The next morning, someone called and asked if Alonzo was home, and that's when his mother saw that his bed was still made up from the previous day. Justin, Daniel, and Tyler eventually all got in touch, and each of them said he had last seen Alonzo at the party. Justin said he was told that Adam couldn't find Alonzo when he decided to leave, so he guessed the 23-year-old had left already. Alonzo's mom called Rodney English, a longtime friend of her son's, to see if he'd seen him. Rodney, who is black, drove to Gardner, where he met Justin for the first time, and asked him to drive them to where the party had been in Lasange. Rodney, who told Unsolved Mysteries that Alonzo never went out without his beanie or his boots, said he found his pal's hat and one boot across the road from the farmhouse driveway, a spot he revisited and pointed out accordingly on the show. Then a man rolled up on a four-wheeler and told us we had to leave, Rodney recalled. Rodney said that he needed to get out of there as he walked that road 16 years after Alonzo's death. I don't feel safe here. After he failed to turn up, Alonzo's brother and sister reported him missing in the Lynn County Sheriff's Department. Deputies conducted a search of the area near the farmhouse, which had reverted back to being an abandoned building the day after the party, on the night of April 4th, but came up empty. The case was then turned over to the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, which conducted a more extensive search with a canine unit and other special investigators. Kansas Highway Patrol supplied a helicopter for an aerial search. The FBI joined the investigation on April 10th, and that is when the possibility that Alonzo was the victim of a hate crime was first reported. Rescue divers searched Middle Creek on April 12th, but found no indication there had been a body in the 3-foot deep water. Justin remembered a constant barrage of law enforcement that he and his buddies were cooperating with, but also said the investigators told him that Alonzo had probably gotten drunk and decided to walk home barefoot. Total BS. That's what we keep trying to tell them, Justin said. 1, that would have been out of character for Alonzo, and 2, he had tweaked his ankle playing basketball and had been limping that night. So is he just going to take off his boots and then truck I don't know how many miles home? After weeks of the sheriff's office telling them to leave the searching to the authorities, according to Maria Ramirez, it was during a search organized by friends and family that Alonzo's body was found, lying in a tangle of brush and branches at the bottom of an embankment at the edge of Middle Creek on May 1st of 2004. My God, it was awful, Alonzo's dad, Billy Brooks Sr., told Dateline. To find my boy like that, nothing can describe that pain. But he added, at least we had found him. It wasn't how we wanted to find him, but at least we did. Alonzo's wallet with cash was still on him, as were other personal items such as a ring he always wore. Investigators called his death suspicious in 2004, but autopsy findings didn't provide a cause of death, and only so much forensic evidence could be collected from the scene after a month had gone by. Mr. Brooks died. Pathologist Eric Mitchell, who conducted the autopsy on what by then were decomposing remains, said on Unsolved Mysteries, noting that he found no broken bones or other identifiable evidence to indicate the young man had been beaten or strangled. I don't know the circumstances of his death. I do not know the cause of his death, whether there was an accident or whether there was purposeful involvement in his death. Meanwhile, there is no question among Alonzo's friends and family as to whether his death was an accident. That was intentional, very intentional, his brother Billy Brooks Jr. told Unsolved Mysteries. There's foul play written all over it. Daniel Funes concluded. Justin Sprague said the rumors clogging up social media range from feasible to asinine. And though none of it led to any arrests or suspects being named, a common thread emerged from partygoers' accounts of the evening. Some white guys had wanted to fight Brooks. Brooks had been flirting with a white girl, racial slurs were uttered, and there simply were some racist people at the party who didn't want him there. So I'm going to stop with this article because it gave us the gist of what we needed. However, a couple of days ago, we find out that Alonzo Brooks' body is being exhumed after 16 years. You know, this case eerily reminds me of our sister Tamla Horsford, the case that, and to this day, that case is currently being looked into again, just like with Brooks. A lot of people were saying a lot of things pertaining to the party itself. And like they said in this article, it's a clear denominator that something was going on, sparked by race. The mother of Brooks did state that he was a very neat person and he wouldn't have walked anywhere barefooted. My heart and prayers go out to this family, so let's lift them up today. Please let me know what you guys think about this story. I will keep checking for updates. Now let's get into our sister Breonna Taylor. So Oprah decides to hand over the cover of her magazine to the very beautiful Breonna Taylor. And this painting that was made of Breonna Taylor on the cover was made by a black artist, Alexis Franklin. Very beautiful artwork, and it does give a lot of exposure to her case to be on Oprah magazine. So then we have this dumb person right here. His name is J.W. Lucas, the producer responsible for tracks for Lil Uzi, Pop Smoke, DaBaby, and more, is catching major heat on social media after making some disparaging comments about Breonna Taylor, who was killed by police officers in Louisville, Kentucky back in March. A now deleted tweet Lucas posted, which began circulating via social media on Thursday, July 30th, shows the producer questioning why people are seeking justice for the late 24-year-old emergency room technician. Taylor was shot and killed by police when they raided her home on March 13th while conducting a no-knock warrant as part of a narcotics investigation. Why is the world asking for justice for Breonna Taylor? His tweet began, "Of course she shouldn't have lost her life, but do you realize that she was involved with multiple drug dealers who were using her house as a trap spot? If you sign up for that life, there are consequences." Lucas quickly received backlash via social media for the disrespectful comment from the Justice for Breonna Taylor movement, which has been launched because the 3 members of the Louisville Metro Police Department responsible for her death, Sergeant John Mattingly and officers Brett Hay. The producer continued to share his thoughts on Taylor's murder in a series of follow-up tweets. "It is terrible Breonna lost her life. And as I said earlier, I believe the cops may have mishandled the raid and been aggressive after being fired on," Lucas tweeted. "With that being said, what is the punishment the world is calling for? Those men were on the job and have families as well." He continued, "If I angered anyone with my tweets regarding the Breonna Taylor case, I do apologize. My intent is to point out the information regarding the case and to bring awareness that this case is being sensationalized for political purpose and to cause confusion near an election." Lucas concluded his tweet saying there has to be consequences for people selling crack and any other hard drugs in our communities, and that he has removed his initial tweet. However, Lucas didn't end the conversation with the aforementioned tweets. He also spoke on people calling for him to be canceled and artists who have worked with him to end their professional relationships with him. I didn't read the whole article from XXLMag.com because this is absolute BS, and this guy not only should be canceled, but he really does need to have a sit down and really need to get his mind right. To me, he does not seem mentally stable to be speaking on anything, let alone Breonna Taylor. You know, I'm just so sorry, Breonna. People have flipped and run this situation and tried to get clout off of your name, and nothing is being done for you. I just hope that this wakes our community up, because the situation with that hip-hop producer and him going on podcasts telling us that he's the best thing for us black folks and we should listen to him and everybody should get money every month and fight poverty, as if that just correlates to the black community. I mean, it's absolutely bizarre. But for him to really go in and disrespect this sister, there has to be some type of consequences to that. Breonna Taylor was doing something with her life. She wasn't out here doing all the things that this man is trying to say and change the narrative. I know there are people out here that like to spin narratives, because I've worked the Nipsey Hussle case. I know that there are people that literally are it's a dirty world we live in. I want you guys to think about this. Maybe we should charge the DA as well in the Breonna Taylor case. You know, the one who thought it would be smart for these officers to go in this woman's house in the middle of the night, shooting her, and then lying on the police report. Every time I think about this case, I just think to myself, that could have been me. Let me know what you think about all of this. I didn't go into detail with J.W. Lucas. Dude is literally a scrub, but I want you guys to really think about, maybe we should start focusing our attention on the DA that handled the warrant for Breonna Taylor. And also definitely get these police officers locked up. I don't know what's taking so long. A lot of people are speculating. A lot of people are, trying to figure it out. Let me know what you guys think about this. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me. I will be back with more. Like I said before, find me on all of these social media platforms. Subscribe. Also like this video, share this video, and comment your thoughts.